Welcome to my world.
From stage to screen, comedy to politics,
Decriminalize it.
he's Cannabis' most famous and fearless celebrity. Now, Tommy Chong is ready to cut through the smoke and change the tone of Tilk Radio.
Please welcome the stoner legend himself, Tommy Chong.
Welcome to the Tommy Chong Podcast.
It's the Tommy Chong podcast. So lay back, light up, and here's some interesting gossip today.
Okay, so I want to talk about, we had Easter Sunday, and we had a nice family dinner.
Oh yeah,
And then there was some news.
Oh, the greatest news ever.
You're going to be a...
Great-granddad.
Pretty cool.
Great-granddad.
I love how no one realized it until I told you. So there's a little bit of controversy on how Morgan and Tracy, how they shared the news with everybody.
Well, first of all, let's make it clear to everybody that Morgan is Ray Dawn's son. Ray Dawn is my oldest child, and he's 31 or something like that.
Yeah.
And they've been Morgan and his wife Tracy, who is this beautiful Chinese doctor, they've been trying to have a baby for quite some time, and so they told me the news. Did you hear what I said to Morgan?
What?
Do you know who the father is? You didn't hear that? It just stopped him. Everybody just looked at me like, what? But apparently he's the father. And they've been trying. Isn't it weird, man? I mean, I could pop a kid out in 2 seconds. No problem. You know, in fact, the first three were definitely out of wedlock, and the second one was expected, but Ray Dawn was a surprise, and Precious was a surprise.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a little different because you were having kids with a 16-year-old woman. So, no. How old was my mom?
She was 18.
Okay, 18. Well, listen, it's different when you're 18 than when
19.
you're in your 30s.
No, she was 19 when she had the baby, I think.
You've only had like one child with a 30-year-old woman, or a woman over. Wait, let's see. Yeah, how old was mom when she had Boo?
I have no idea.
I think she was in her 30s.
Yeah.
Just barely. So, anyways, okay, the controversy is that Morgan told his dad's side of the family, because his dad and his mom were split up.
Yeah.
And he told his dad's side of the family, and then he told me and Shelby and Robbie before he told his mom in the other room. And I didn't get it. I didn't get what was going on there, but I could tell there was some hurt feelings, and I could see the way Ray Dawn reacted. She had hurt feelings because she started saying, "Whoa, I wonder if this kid's gonna look like a." She said it's either gonna be beautiful or the weirdest looking kid ever, and I'm like, well, "What are you saying?"
What? Oh, she said that?
Yeah, but you got to see where it's coming from. She got her feelings hurt. So you do those uncontrollable things when you get your feelings hurt.
Well, the thing
you say hurtful things.
No, I'll say this, and then I won't say anything more about my family.
Well, you don't have to worry because they don't listen to this show. We're allowed to talk about stuff.
No, Ray Dawn has been kind of torturing Morgan and Tracy for a long time.
About having a child?
About everything. Remember when they had the wedding? Ray Dawn showed up unexpectedly with some guests, and Morgan and Tracy are so anal about everything. They had everything planned down to the penny, and Ray Dawn shows up with a friend and his wife and a kid, and there was nowhere to sit. And so they literally had to tell Ray Dawn's friend that there's no room in the inn.
Yeah.
And Ray Dawn's, I raised her, and she's a wild child, and she's just used to getting her own hippie way,
Yeah.
Whatever she, show up with strangers,
Yeah.
I mean, that's Ray Dawn. She's been a free-spirited child all her life.
Yeah. Yeah. And famous too. So, when you're famous, you you don't wait in lines. You don't ask people if you can invite people. You're famous.
Yeah,
you know?
rules don't apply to this. Yeah, at all.
At all.
Yeah.
At all, man.
And usually, everybody falls out of their way to
And
pull up an extra
she
chair.
was really, I mean, she's famous now, but she was really famous in the 80s, like extremely famous.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, she was.
And famous in like, in the news and in movies famous, but then also in the scene famous. There's a certain celebrity of just being known by celebrities.
Yeah. No, Ray Dawn was very, very ahead of her time in so many ways. I mean, she paved the way for Halle Berry and all the mixed girls that came up. Before that, they had movies about being black.
So you think this was just a little... I don't think they consciously do that stuff, but it's just a little... Maybe they were just worried about what her reaction was going to be, or I wonder why.
Well, like I said, when you treat your kids like a buddy, like a friend.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Then you don't get that sort of grandma approach or respect that everybody gets,
because she's not like one of those kind of very proper moms.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Oh, you're making a good point, Dad.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, Ray Dawn.
If you're a wild woman mom,
yeah,
you're gonna get treated like a wild woman mom.
That's right.
If you're a very thoughtful straight mom, you're gonna get treated like a thoughtful straight mom.
Yeah, and you can't have both ways. You can't be the best friend and then all of a sudden be the patriarch or the matriarch of the family and get that respect.
Oh, I get it.
That's what you give up.
Yeah, I see.
I've seen that with other people. I've seen that with like the real dad not being invited somewhere because the guy never supported anything, never put a penny out, and all of a sudden,
he wants that respect. It's not a title. You're right. The title doesn't mean shit, man.
No.
It's how you operate.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
What have you done for me lately?
That's right. That's it. It's like the little puppies,
Oh yeah, and you know what? Having so many musicians in our life, we've seen a lot of these guys get their feelings hurt by their kids not treating them the way they think they should be treated. But then you and I damn well know these dudes were gone 90% of the time and didn't help out at all.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't afford to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were big kids themselves.
Yeah.
So that happens a lot, And the truth is that when you have a baby, that baby doesn't belong to you. It might have came through you. You might have carried the baby. You're the mom. You're the dad. But that kid is by himself. He is an individual, totally by himself. And sometimes they bond. Whoever feeds them. Basically, that's who they bond to.
Yeah.
So many rich kids have grown up and bonded with their nannies.
Yeah.
It's their nanny that
well,
really
that's the rich
cries.
kid thing. Yeah. Or the housekeeper.
Or the housekeeper, the nanny. In a lot of cases, aunts, uncles, like Jack Nicholson.
Or your coach.
Like Jack Nicholson, for instance. He was raised by what he thought was his sister. But he was born, kind of early out of wedlock, and so he didn't know that his sister was his mom.
Oh,
and so he was raised, he's kind of screwed up that way, because it's funny how society used to treat unwed mothers.
They still do in parts of the world. They fucking honor kill them, know. Pour battery acid on them, like not too long ago in this country, it was rough. It was rough on women in Canada.
I can remember. I remember one time. There's a singer Laverne Gerard, a black kid. Donnie Gerard, his brother, the small brother, and Donnie had a hit called I'll think of it.
Boogie Woogie.
But Laverne had an affair with his girlfriend, Arlene. She got pregnant, and the mother and father shipped her off to have the baby, and to give the baby up for adoption. And she did that. And I was involved because I was kind of dating Laverne's sister, Dale, and I had driven the drummer's father, who worked on the railroad. I drove him to the railroad station, and then he took me down the back way where the workers go to get to the train. And so when Arlene was being shipped away on the train, and so we found out late, and so we all jumped in cars and we all raced down there because Laverne wanted to say goodbye to his lover. And then I knew the back way, and so I led the way, and we went down the back way and the stairs. It was like a
Very
movie.
theatrical, yeah.
Very like a movie, and then he ran up, and then they kissed and hugged, and then the train pulled away, and she went and she had the baby, and then gave it up for adoption, and then came back. And then, of course, they split up after that, you know.
Yeah.
And it was kind of sad, you know. It was both. It was everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So proper that you give up your blood.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
Well, look at
You're so worried about your place in society that you give up your own grandkid.
A lot of it is money. A lot of it is inheritance and money. And like JP, you know.
Oh,
the
like
story.
now that wife's going to be a part of the family, or that woman's going to be a part of the family.
Well, no, that illegitimate kid that showed that they had sex out of wedlock. Ooh, that was a big no-no.
Doesn't make sense to me, man.
Well, look at
Bizarre.
JP's story.
Yeah.
JP, his mom and dad were teenage lovers,
Yeah.
and they were going to get married. She got pregnant, and instead of abortion, you know, they were Catholics, so she went secretly, had the baby, gave it up for adoption,
Yeah.
and then married the father. Wow. And then JP was taken to America by a Jewish family.
Yeah.
Now he's Catholic. And it's a funny story in a way, you know, because these rich Jews in Beverly Hills wanted to adopt. They felt, you know, what do you call it, patriotic during the war.
Yeah.
But they wanted to adopt a little Jewish baby during the war. And so I guess they couldn't find any Jews, and oh, hey, here's one. You know, what's the difference? It's a kid, you know. So, okay, here, we got one for you. And so they shipped JP over. Yeah. And no, they went and picked him up, and then they brought JP into the country, you know, smuggled him, basically smuggled him into the country, because wartime, no one was checking passports or anything. So JP had no idea that he was adopted until he got a letter from the French government, because he was born in France.
Yeah.
And every citizen has to join the army, you know. And so JP gets a letter in Beverly Hills that he's wanted to join the army. Yeah. And so then his father told, and I guess his mother told him the truth of what was going on. Yeah. And JP said, oh, that makes a lot of sense, because he was never allowed to go to temple with everybody else because he was Catholic.
Which is bizarre.
And he couldn't figure out how come. And he loved it, you know, because all the kids had to go to temple, and he was excused so he could go ride his bike and have a good time. Yeah. And then JP, then he found out the truth. So he went to the French army to apply, and of course they didn't need him. They just wanted to see him and make sure that he showed up. And then they said, okay, you can go home. So he's trying to get back to America. Yeah. And he couldn't get in the country because he never had a passport.
Yeah.
So then his father had to intercede, you know, try to get him a passport. And the only way they would let JP in the country was that he had to join the army. And so he became a pilot. Mm-hmm. You know, then he got a citizenship, and then he got shot down. And what a great story. We got to do a movie.
So, man, another friend of mine I found out was pregnant. I was at an Easter party, and this girl, Lorraine, she's married to my buddy Jason. And Lorraine, you know, she's like late 30s, maybe early 40s, I'm not sure. But she has like a full-grown boy who's like, I think he's like 20 now. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. And so Jason's around her age, around my age, and you know, I guess he thought, okay, well, she's already had a full-grown kid. I guess maybe we're not going to have a kid, but I love this woman, whatever. She's, you know, my dream girl. And then I see her at the party, and she's freaking pregnant, man. She's like, you know, no doubt about it. You know what I mean? And I go, whoa. And she comes over and she starts laughing. She says, Paris is the craziest thing. She's Brazilian. She goes, you know, I quit smoking for 6 months. I went on the fast. I went on a juice cleanse, and I stopped drinking. And next thing you know, I'm pregnant.
Because she couldn't have a baby before?
No, they didn't even try. Oh. You know, like she thought I'm past that age, you know, I'm not going to get pregnant.
But she got healthy enough.
She got healthy. And when you get a Brazilian girl healthy, man, that's some fertile ground. You know it because that mixing. So how you feel about being a great-granddad? Your brother's like a big great-granddad.
A couple of times.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. How do I feel about it? No big deal. No, I love kids.
Well,
I love babies.
It was funny because we kind of put together that Easter party. Well, we were going to do something, but we kind of did it to try to get Dario, my cousin, over with his brand new baby.
Yeah, what a
little Bowie.
little
but
Bowie.
But that didn't work. That didn't work because we think that Bowie's mom is one of those kind of neurotic moms. We're thinking, not sure.
They're all neurotic.
Not all that.
No, they are.
Not all.
Unless they had a time. This is either the firstborn or the first boy. You're not going to see that kid for a long time. Yeah.
Why?
People are, the way they are, especially beautiful women.
Biological stuff's going on, like.
Well, it's so protective of this new little infant. They don't want them around strangers. People breathing on them and picking them up,
germs and stuff like
touching
that.
them, and it's bullshit. But that's the way it is.
Yeah.
They got to do what the Native Americans used to do. When after they had a baby, take that baby down to the creek and dunk him in the cold water.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like so Tracy's mom is from China. Like she's a real, Chinese woman. Like, country kind of woman too, huh? And she was funny. The story she says, she told her daughter, she says, "Oh, lift up your skirt. I need to see your belly." Sure. She needed to see what the belly looked like.
Yeah. Yeah, and she could tell. They can tell.
I mean, really?
No, they can tell.
Come on, man.
They can tell. Don't poo-poo that.
And then you're gonna like read some tea leaves too, and
they can tell. They can tell that stuff, man. Hey, that's voodoo, but that shit works.
But poor Tracy, she says she's had like morning sickness, but apparently it's like Morgan said it's not morning sickness, it's just sickness. You're sick all the time, like
it's morning sickness. Yeah, it's nausea.
But she feels nauseous all the time. So how's it morning sickness? Yeah. It's like,
well, they call it that. You get it in the morning, but the thing is, you don't want to dwell on it. I mean, it's just like, it's okay. Come on, let's go. Just keep busy. That's really the key.
Get your mind off it.
Maxine, Robbie's mom, she had the worst sickness ever, and that's
the whole pregnancy.
Basically, the whole pregnancy, and then she had to have a cesarean. They had to cut her open,
right,
for Robbie. And Robbie came out perfect, but Maxine never even thought about having another baby.
No way, huh?
Oh, no.
That was it?
That was it. That was a tough one.
Was there any other female Sneeds?
No.
No, huh?
Just Maxine. Yep.
So
Maxine,
she had hers, and that was it, huh?
She had her.
And Floyd and Bernie had.
She had her Robbie.
Did Floyd have any more other kids?
Floyd had 3.
From the same?
From Sandy.
From Sandy?
Yeah. Or 2 from Sandy.
2, and then the boys from another woman, right?
Yeah, a girlfriend.
Yeah. Musician style. Huh?
Oh, yeah, totally. Musicians or basketball player style.
Well, I think basketball players are like, they take how many did Sean Kemp have? He had
11.
No, dude. He had 17 at that one count. He's probably up in the 30s or 40s right now.
Well, those guys are in big demand. Those big baby makers are. That's what we were going to do with Kareem. That's what Cheech wanted to do with Kareem, Put him out to pasture, sell his sperm. Yeah. Okay, we're going to take a break while we digest that last one.
You're listening to the Tommy Chong Podcast, only on CannabisRadio.com.
The next generation of vaporizers has arrived. Vuber vaporizers are blazing the way with unparalleled technology for oil, concentrate, or dry flower pens. Providing unsurpassed customer service and expert craftsmanship, Vuber vaporizers use cutting-edge technology, providing a power-packed, smoother vapor with a lifetime guarantee. Experience vaporizing the way it was meant to be. The Vuber way.
Ganjapreneur.com, your guide to the cannabis business world. Ganjapreneur.com is a comprehensive resource for cannabis professionals and entrepreneurs. Download the Ganjapreneur app on your smartphone or tablet to catch up on cannabis industry news, scroll through our daily job listings, and learn about successful cannabis companies, executives, and investors. Ganjapreneur.com, helping Ganjapreneurs grow.
CannabisRadio.com keeps you in the know Monday through Friday on air and on demand with Cannabis Radio News, Presented with the definitive worldwide news source, the Associated Press. Stay informed with exclusive news on all things cannabis. Cannabis Radio News, live weeknights at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, during the Russ Belville Show, or download the daily podcast exclusively on CannabisRadio.com, as well as iTunes, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. When breaking news happens in the cannabis industry, Cannabis Radio News delivers the details first.
Educator, author, and advocate Dr. Mitch Earlywine is here to tackle the burning issues.
And I'm here to clear up the myths about cannabis and burn them away with science.
CannabisRadio.com presents a no-holds-barred platform that seeks to redefine and revolutionize the entire scope of the cannabis culture while opening the door for more to join the cannabis crusade.
Dr. Kevin Hill.
You can't ignore the fact that, like alcohol, most people who use don't have a problem. So I think that you need to think about policy in that way while educating people properly about marijuana. I think that's the way to go.
Burning Issues, only on CannabisRadio.com.
The Tommy Chong Podcast is back, only on CannabisRadio.com.
Okay, we're back, and hey, let's talk about Geraldo's.
No. I'm saving that.
Okay.
I got to talk about other stuff. So Radon was talking about. Well, Dave and Robbie played us some cool music. Okay, so first of all, it was funny because we heard a song that you and Cheese did, and it was
we forgot totally
forgot, and it was called Boogie Woogie.
Yeah, Boogie Woogie Boogie Boogie.
And the whole lyrics was boogie woogie boogie. How did it go?
Boogie woogie boogie boogie woogie woogie woogie
boogie woogie boogie. Hey everybody, you want a boogie? Yeah, woo, a boogie woogie boogie. I can't wait till they release that documentary. It's going to be very funny.
It's going to be hilarious.
I laugh at that, man.
And then they had me singing a Blind Melon Chillin' that I wrote. I can't even remember.
You definitely wrote it, man. It was your lyrics, no doubt about it. It had you. Okay, so I was talking about Radon.
Yeah.
And then Radon they played us a song that she wrote called
and sang
because she wrote Darktown, and it was this cool, beautiful song about the South Side of Chicago. Yeah, I mean it was racially charged, but it's coming from a black girl, so I don't think there's a problem with that, So
nowadays you can get away with anything.
Yeah, and it was a beautiful song, and then it turns out she got that role, and then she was kind of going through her career, and she was telling us that she was up for the girlfriend in Good Times, and she didn't get it because she just didn't speak black.
Yeah.
And it was one of many roles that she wasn't able to secure at that time because she didn't speak black.
I know, yeah. She didn't have that
at all.
And
then Robbie was funny. She's like, oh, they didn't want a Valley girl? Because they now that I think about it, Robbie and Radon have kind of a Valley kind of accent.
Fairfax High, that's where they went.
Yeah, total Californian,
Yeah.
But it was interesting that you're kind of stuck in the middle there.
Yeah.
Like you don't get white parts, but you don't get black parts.
But you get Radon parts.
But Radon was before her time because had she just started during the Cosby thing, she would have been all over Cosby Show.
Yeah.
Because the Cosby Show, they did not speak like they did in Good Times.
No.
Right? They spoke, I guess, just non-Ebonics.
Yeah. Well, they spoke educated.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were educated.
Yeah. But it was interesting because I watched this video online today, and it's interesting. Have you ever heard of cultural appropriation?
No.
It's a term used like when hip hop and rap has black origins, right?
Yes.
And there's this woman out there, that Australian girl, she's the rapper, and she's a famous rapper, but she's like blonde and blue-eyed, like Australian girl, right? I forgot her name. I'll think of it in a second. So they claim that she does her style of rap is very Atlanta, is very ATL. It's like this southern kind of black, very, very black hip hop. So they
American black,
like Atlanta,
Atlanta.
And so she gets a lot of flack for culturally appropriating that kind of music because that style of rap was never as world famous as it was until she started doing it.
Of course.
So it's when you do something that's culturally not originating from you, but you get more praise than the original and it's a sad fact. I don't think it's a big problem in the world. Like there's quite a few others, but a lot of
I'll give you,
some black activists have brought that up, because let me tell you the story where it comes from, because there's a video out there where a black woman student at San Francisco University, and she stops this white dude who has dreadlocks and starts giving him shit for culturally appropriating the hair.
Okay.
And so they get into an argument, and he's like, listen, this dates back to Egyptian times. He's like, are you Egyptian? And then it showcased how ridiculous this argument was, because it was just ridiculous. It was like, I don't think he was getting praised for having them. I think it's the opposite. I think that's the worst argument, because a lot of white dudes with dreads get more shit than anybody, especially black dudes with dreads. Like, they're not cool. They're only cool to like one tiny 1.0000001% of society that plays hacky sack at the beach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And they buy patchouli.
Yeah.
And so it was a bad case, but I was thinking about it. And what did you think about it?
Well, yeah, I mean, music is colorblind.
Style. For instance, with you, in your time, especially in high school, it'd be the greasers, right?
Yeah.
So the greasers culturally appropriated the style from the
Mexicans.
The Mexicans.
From the
Chicanos, basically.
And we had no clue that we were doing that. Cheech was the first Mexican I ever met.
I know. Well, that's the thing.
I didn't know the history until I came to LA.
Isn't that funny? So if you didn't know where it came from, are you guilty of cultural appropriation?
Yeah. And that only affects people that go to college, because they're the only ones that give a shit.
Yeah.
No one else gives
that
a
ever
shit.
actually thought into it. But it's interesting, because I guess the biggest example of that would be like the Beatles, playing the music that they played originally.
Yeah.
Because that music was never that big until they played it.
Yeah, but do you see the Beatles? I call them, they're from white Africa,
Yeah.
Because England started so much shit going on, all around the world. It all came from England. The white thing came from England. And so when you talk about the Beatles, now what the Beatles did, they were influenced by all the black acts, but they were more influenced by the white composer of classical music. And then they mixed the two together, or the three together, because they went into all sorts of Indian music, sorts of
that's for sure. Later on.
But what they were pioneers in the art of music. They actually created a whole genre of Beatle type music that's to this day
for sure.
still resonating.
And I don't blame them.
But let me finish. They also were very influenced by Bob Dylan. And by,
You mean when they first came out? When they were first
big time. The lyrics, Bob Dylan was
No, She Loved Me, like that era, Dad? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
like
that
first
era.
album.
But Bob, as he went on, I mean, what they did, they knew they needed a bubblegum hit. And so She Loves Me, yeah. I mean, they knew how to do that. But when they wrote songs, like all the Strawberry Fields, all that stuff, they were influenced by poets, and they were...
Yeah, hugely,
The influence of Bob Dylan was around the world, and Smokey Robinson was another one that influenced the shit out of everybody. Yeah. And then who was he influenced by? He was influenced by the poets.
But I get it, especially that era. Especially I get why you got into that music, because the alternative was like the Bing Crosby, and it was so boring.
Yeah,
like a Bing Crosby party compared to like a juke joint shack in Mississippi. I mean, can you imagine like the party down and the sexiness of the dance and that whole thing?
That's what I was going to tell you about before. That cultural appropriation. The biggest example was when Chubby Checker, who was a black or mixed guy, he was a light-skinned black guy, appropriated the twist from Hank Ballard and the Midnighters. Now, Hank Ballard and the Midnighters were pioneers of R&B. They did Sexy Ways, Annie Had a Baby, all those great songs, and with the harmonies and everything else. And then he put out a song called The Twist, because the dance craze was going.
Hank Ballard did
the first twist,
but he was black.
Come on, baby, and he's black from L.A.
And that music, what was those music called again? Race music.
Race, yeah. But the twist took that music into a American Bandstand, with Chubby Checker. And Chubby Checker made zillions of dollars off the twist, and he sang it exactly like Hank Ballard. Exactly. He had the same intonation.
Hank was just too dark-skinned and too hardcore?
No, Hank wasn't that dark-skinned, but he was definitely hardcore. But Chubby Checker was from Philly, and he was like a Bill Cosby black guy, you know?
But he probably had the machine, the marketing machine, obviously, behind him.
He had the white record, or the Jewish record producers behind him. And that's how they did it. Yeah. And Georgia Gibbs took another one of Hank Ballard's songs and was like, "Work With Me, Annie."
Yeah.
And she changed, they changed the lyrics to "Dance With Me, Henry."
Right.
Dance with me, Henry, all night long. You know, Georgia Gibbs is this white chick.
Yeah.
And she's doing her thing, you know. I remember one time I was looking for a band after we broke up, the first band in Vancouver, and I was in Calgary. I wasn't with the brothers anymore, you know. And I met this kid that played alto sax, so I invited him over, and I wanted to hear his views on music. And so I played him Mahalia Jackson, you know, a very...
Amazing Grace, that one?
No, one of those, you know, it was soul song. And he said it sounded like Georgia Gibbs or something like.
Yeah, but the whole cultural appropriation thing, it seems it's a ridiculous movement or argument, because what better way to cross the racism lines than to have that bridge where that kid who's white likes certain things that aren't white, and then that turns the white kids onto that and opens their mind, you know, to it.
Yeah, so, Eminem is another great example.
Well, he didn't culturally appropriate anything, because Eminem's style is Eminem style.
Yeah.
And he's legitimately from the hood.
Yeah.
You know? He's from 8 Mile.
But he's a white guy.
Yeah, he's a white guy. Yeah.
I met guys like that. You know how you could tell in Detroit, you know, the ones that were hardcore, is that all the white people that, when the riot's happening, all the real white people got the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
They left.
Yeah.
All the brother white people, they stayed.
Yeah.
And they looted. They were right there with the brothers, man. So there's, you know, there again, it's colorblind.
Yeah.
It's an economic thing. You know, it's an educational thing.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, man, leave the little white dudes alone with the dreadlocks. Their life's hard enough, man. Like, how hard? Remember when you had dreadlocks, Dad? Mm-hmm. They treated you like a homeless person.
Oh, I got kicked out of a lot of places.
Like, literally, it was like a study on what it's like to be homeless.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. I remember. I loved it, man.
You're like, get out of here. Get out of here.
Oh, I know you. Well, when I did that movie, when I played God, and I'm all dressed in rags and shit, you know, I had an Indian couple. I swear, I felt a little scared because, because unclean, you know, in India.
Yeah.
You know,
the caste
beggars come around there, and this Indian, you get out away from me, get away from me. and I tried to tell him, you know, it's a movie, you know. No, you get away. What are you? Ugh, ugly, it's filthy guy. You know? And other people were going to recognize me. Oh man, I need your I love you, Chong. I need a picture. You know, dressed like God.
Yeah, you were telling me something funny the other day, and you're like, man, I got to come up with a disguise. And Dad, there's no disguise for you.
Yeah, there is.
He's like, okay, what are you going to cover your beard with?
I could go tranny.
But you have a beard, so you'll be a
Muslim
bearded
tranny.
Woman.
I'll be a Muslim tranny.
Oh, you want a burqa?
Yeah.
Burqas are dangerous to wear in America.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, and the Donald Trumps out there, the followers, they're feeling brave lately.
Oh,
they're just like they're speaking their mind.
They're prime.
They're not the silent majority anymore.
No.
They're the vocal minority.
you know that I like seeing a black supporter beat the shit out of a white hippie.
I saw that, the Air Force guy.
Yeah. And they said, well, the guy with the hippie was dressed like a Ku Klux Klan, but no, he wasn't. It was a Trump supporter behind him that was dressed like a Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah, he was just wearing a flag over him.
He was wearing a flag.
Yeah.
And the other thing that cracks me up about it looks like they're really getting the shit beat out of them. Then you talk to them, they have interviews. It's like they never laid a finger on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy punched me. Yeah. That wasn't right. That wasn't cool. You know, I wasn't doing nothing.
Fucking brave protesters, huh?
Oh, man.
fucking brave. I'm impressed, man.
Yeah.
I'm impressed,
Yeah, I like go right into the lion's den.
Yeah.
And start talking that shit. Start drowning out Trump. Yeah, but you don't blame him, man, because Trump. That's what he lives out that. Thing.
But it was a trip seeing the black Air Force guy fucking tuning. I mean, he was going at him too.
Yeah.
It was like, dude, they failed to remember how many cameras are on them. One of my favorite things to watch nowadays, it's called like Cop Watch or something like that. Yeah. And it's like these nerdy guys that are just filming cops, and
for purpose.
And I saw one where the cop was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing filming this area over here?" And the guy's, "I'm allowed to film, sir. I'm in public. You're not on public property. You're trespassing." "No, sir. Yeah, that's a lie. I'm on public property." And then he's like, "Well, let me see. I need to see some ID. You know who I am. I need to see some ID." He says, "No, sir. I'm not giving you ID, sir." And he goes, "Am I being detained? Am I being detained? Am I free to go? Am I free to go?" And he says, "Yes, you are being detained." "Well, what charge? On what charge?" Just listen. The law is on your side. I truly believe. I like these nerdy guys out there, but man, they're those like
they're risking it.
They're those nerdy guys, man, that they put themselves in some serious danger.
Oh yeah,
and I appreciate it. It's for my rights as a citizen, But it's
but they're filming it.
They're filming.
Well,
it.
that was. I think you showed me the one.
So then then the cop just reaches in the guy's pocket and takes his ID. He says, "You dirty fucking pig! You're not allowed to do that. You just fucking." And he was just saying some heavy shit. But the cop, he had no recourse, man. When that camera's on there.
What are you gonna do?
You do that shit. You're allowed to fucking say. Yeah. I mean, you just better not do it in a threatening manner where they feel threatened, because you might just get a billy club across the face
or a bullet in the butt.
Yeah, I mean,
I like that one where you showed me where they had a bomb in front of the cop, and then they see the cop and they fake like they're hiding it.
And they're smoking tobacco out of it.
And they're smoking tobacco out of it, and the cop goes, "Okay, let me get it. I saw that."
The same.
Oh, okay, here you go.
They did the same thing with "Hey, we got a trunk full of coke. When are we supposed to meet you?" "Hey, we got all this coke, man. Where are we supposed to meet you?" And then the cops come over and say, "Open that trunk. Open that." And they got a big trunk full of Coca-Cola. And the cops, they're not nice. They're like, "Yeah, that's fucking not funny, man."
Yeah.
They don't. "Let me see your ID. Let me see if there's any warrants on you. Let me fucking hassle you."
Yeah. Let's hassle you for a while. Yeah. No, it's a different world now with those cameras.
Yeah. I'll talk about something when we're going to come right back after these messages.
You're listening to the Tommy Chong Podcast, only on CannabisRadio.com.
From high atop Mount Soledad in San Diego, California, 100 feet above sea level. Good morning. It's good news with cannabis nurse Heather.
This plant is amazing. Positive change is happening. We did it. No matter who you are, you can make a positive impact on the world.
I would rather be illegally alive than legally dead.
And that quote helped to give you strength.
Nurse Heather is only on CannabisRadio.com.
Good morning, cannabis nurse Heather.
Cannabis Confidential with Dr. Dina. Candid.
I want to give you the inside story.
Captivating.
I want to introduce you to my kind and amazingly talented friends.
Compelling.
We get to meet some of the most amazing cannabis activists and warriors around.
Listen in as medical marijuana pioneer Dr. Dina shares never-before-heard stories, chats with cannabis insiders and celebrity friends, and provides invaluable perspective and insight into one of the fastest-growing industries in the world.
I want to share with you what was once confidential information. Let's expose the truth, discuss the issues, and learn the facts.
Cannabis Confidential, only on CannabisRadio.com.
The Tommy Chong Podcast is back, only on CannabisRadio.com.
We're back.
Oh yeah. So having the body cams with the cops,
Mm-hmm.
So I've had this situation before, and a couple of my friends really have jealous girlfriends and wives, right? Okay. So I was thinking, it'd be funny is if like, okay, when your wife when you're alone, you just turn on your body cam, so your wife can check in on you, and you're like, yeah. Hey, babe.
Well, they got that, what do you call it, FaceTime?
No, I know, FaceTime, but then, you can not answer it, you can answer it. What if they have the jealous girlfriend body cam, so no matter what, it's always on, you just, whenever they feel like tuning in.
They can
tune in.
That's going to happen, isn't it?
I would wear it just to get that chick off my back. Like, you see, I told you I'm not fucking anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why not, right?
Yeah, but what are they doing when they're accusing you? That's the thing. But you don't want to go there.
I don't care. I don't go there. I learned a long time ago to don't go there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then you go crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, I like how some guys they go, oh man, well, but she was with that guy and she was with that guy. It's like, yeah. Have you heard of a shower? And soap and water.
Yeah.
That's what happens in between. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's weird how people get so possessive.
Yeah.
Like they're your property.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe in Saudi Arabia or Afghanistan.
Well, there again, you see what the results of that kind of mindset is.
It's true. It's true.
No, you don't want to go there, period.
No.
I love the way the world's heading, with the cell phone and that, because you have knowledge at your fingertips.
Yeah.
And that's what's needed really bad in this world is knowledge.
Yeah.
And there's so many people of all ethnic origins, that are gobbling that knowledge up.
Yeah, it'd be cool if like normal people, the world in general could just be left alone, and then the fanatics can just fight each other. Like Islamist fanatics can fight the Christian fanatics, can fight the Jewish fanatics, can fight the Buddhist fanatics. Just let the fundamentalists do the fighting, and then leave us normal people out of the shit. You know what I mean?
Well, it wouldn't be, you couldn't have that. You have to have all the different species.
Yeah, it's just theoretic. Yeah. Okay, I will let you talk about your favorite show now.
Dance with the Stars.
Yes.
Did you know that I was the oldest guy to make it as far as I did? Did I ever tell you that? Did I ever tell you that no one's ever made it as far as me as being an old guy?
Yeah.
And Mark Hanks, our buddy, last night, he said, boy, you went through a crazy year. Last year was kind of crazy. I said, what do you mean? He's, well, you're on Dance with the Stars and you had cancer and you had an operation.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, all that happened in 1 year. Just like, ooh. It was. One time I'm being applauded by millions, and then next thing I know, I'm laying on my back, wondering where the fuck I am. Getting my butt, rearranged.
Yeah.
Oh.
At least you don't have to go through those checks anymore.
No. What checks?
The oil checks.
Oh. No more of that. But watching the show last night, Geraldo was on, and Geraldo thought, first of all, he was on the opening night, and he was so bad that the judges got the lowest score they could find. In fact, I saw Len looking for a lower score. He's looking through his paddles. Isn't there a -0 something? 4 was the lowest they could get, and they never gave him any pep talk. It was like, that was fucking terrible. You're a 4. And so he got 4s because all he did, he walked on stage and he just waved his hands a little bit.
I think he did. I saw a little clip where he wiggled it. He did the shoulder wiggle.
That was the most he did. He went out there and waved his hands. Then he's smiling like he's doing a newscast, and he's got that Geraldo smile.
And his walk was terrible.
Yeah,
he didn't even have a walk.
No. Well, apparently he's got no feeling in his right leg.
You could tell
from his operation.
He looked to me like a bad version of the Wild and Crazy Guys with Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll do Wild and Crazy Guys.
Yeah. And he looked short. He looked terrible. And then he's telling me, well, I'm 74. Like, everybody gives a shit. No one gives a shit. Uh-huh. But the thing is about that show, you got to look like you're trying. Just try. You don't have to dance, but try. I remember being at like a school dances and that, and I had friends and, I don't want to dance, and then and some girl would come over and try to pull him up to dance, I don't want to do videos, and that's what Geraldo looked like. Like he didn't want to be there. And I'm thinking, why are you here if you don't want to dance? And then there's another girl that was on the show. She's a model, actress or something. Anyway, they showed her, like that was the first week. And then she was pretty bad. In fact, Lynn and
Misha Barton.
Yeah, and the judges.
You know who used to date her?
Who?
Cisco. That was Cisco's girlfriend for a long time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, she sure got a inferiority complex.
I think she's a little
big time
cuckoo.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, she's got some mental issues.
How did she get on that show?
She's like partly famous, kind of.
Because it showed the rehearsal, and she's with the dancer that I know.
Kyo?
No, he's a Russian. But he's
Bardem.
Yeah, he's with Bardem, and Bardem was he's beautiful dancer.
Yeah, he went pretty far with the older actress.
Yeah, and he tried to teach her, and she just refused to learn. He said, "No, you're starting on the wrong foot." Oh, it's on the wrong foot, and then she just quit. She shut down. I'm not doing this. Pouted. And then when she got on the show, it was so bad. The rehearsal was so bad. And then when she did the show at night, it was even worse.
Yeah.
And she was crying before she even got in front of the judges. She was crying. And the same thing.
The brunette, right?
Yeah.
And then she was kind of walking in between the band.
Yeah. And then Doug Flutie was the third guy that was going to get kicked off. Now, Flutie was a quarterback.
Yeah.
But can't dance worth a lick.
Really?
But he's got that competitive spirit,
So he's gonna give it all.
Shit. So the first night he was terrible. The second night, the next week, he wasn't bad. He did a pasadoble. They always
and they said he was built for that too.
Yeah, and he's a football player, and he knows how to do the drills, and so it's a football drill basically. So the only thing they don't do is say hike and and run for a pass, and so he's doing his football drills. And so the three couples are picked to be the lowest score.
Yeah.
I mean, the lowest.
So Misha's going next week, huh?
The lowest. But Geraldo not only can't dance, but he comes out dressed like Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He's got a Donald Trump wig on, and he says that Donald's a friend of his that he's known from the 70s. And he said, Donald's going to like this. And then I tweeted, I said, yeah, he did a perfect Donald Trump impersonation. He was the first to get kicked off. and that's what's going to happen in the election. It's like, if he makes it to the final, Republicans are just going to lose every seat in the House and the Senate, and probably the Republican Party will probably fold.
Yeah.
They'll probably say, well.
So you know who I was impressed with is the Paige Van Zandt girl. She's the fighter.
Oh,
because
she's good.
She only had 2 days to rehearse, right, or 2 hours to rehearse.
24 hours with her new partner.
Yeah, and she did that flip over the back of him.
But did you hear what happened?
What?
She kind of got in. Well, she's a fighter, right?
Yeah.
And so she got into Mark's head, and it's not hard to get into Mark's head because Mark, he's kind of on the edge, you know. So she says, "You're not big enough to pick me up." Are you sure you can do this? She says, "You're hardly bigger than I am. You're as big as me, And she kept reminding him
I'm 150 muscle.
Yeah.
I'm a fighter 150.
Yeah, and so she said, she got totally into his head. So at rehearsal, sure enough, Mark tried to pick her up. Boom, there goes the back.
Oh, wow.
He threw his back out.
Wow. So
he's
going to be out for a while then, huh?
Probably. I don't know how he's going to recover.
But she did that trick with that guy, man, and it was like a flip over the top when you grab the legs and flip around.
She said, I treat it like a fight. She says, like, you're trained for an opponent, and then all of a sudden he gets hurt, and you get another opponent. Yeah. So it was no big thing because Mark couldn't pick her up anyway.
She had more confidence with this other guy.
I know how he feels, man. Because when I was on the show, Peter had this one part where I pick her up and flip her around. I said, I can't do it. She's solid. And so I said, okay, here's what we do. You got to jump, and I'll fake like, as you're jumping, I'll fake like I pick you up. And well, that's what dancers do,
Yeah.
And that's what good dancers, that's what they do. They help the trick. So all you're really doing is balancing them.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have their weight.
Yeah.
You know, but that's one trick that I had to learn, and I couldn't figure out. I swear to God, man.
Couldn't do it. Huh?
I could hardly pick up my own fucking arm, you know, let alone pick up a human being. It's killer out there. Yeah. You know, it's killer. I mean, you know, it looks easy because these dancers doing it all their lives, you know.
Yeah.
I had I'm doing tango now. There's one step where I got to step straight. And my instinct and my training was to turn that foot a little bit to where you're going to turn, like cheat a little bit. Yeah. And so that foot would just automatically go a little bit to the right. Yeah. And it doesn't look good. And so I had to go in the basement and work on putting my foot straight and turning to the right.
Right.
I spent all day doing it. And finally I went to rehearsal, you know, tango rehearsal, and I could do it. But, oh, man, seeing Geraldo looking, and he's not funny. And no, first of all, no one likes Trump. And I don't think too many people like Geraldo anymore, you know, because Geraldo kind of, he kind of gave up the ghost, you know.
What do you mean?
He was a spokesman for the left for most of his career.
But they all go Dennis Miller. They all do.
No,
they all do.
And Dennis Miller went that way too. But no, not all of them. You know, I never changed.
Yeah, but you're the real deal. Those guys are all scared white men on the inside.
Yeah, no, they're just going for the money. They're just going, you know, the money's there.
And they're scared white dudes, you know.
When they get older, they
get older, scared. They get scared.
When they're young, they're
hip, they're cool, they're hanging with you, you know. And they're older, like, oh shit, that's my stuff, you know. Don't touch it. Oh, I need a gun.
Yeah,
I need to go get a gun.
Yeah, I need a gun because someone's going to come
coming for me. You know?
Yeah,
us against them.
I hated that, man, because I was so into Geraldo's mindset, you know, early in his career, you know. I mean, he was the guy that was going, you know, doing stuff. And when he got kicked off the air he was embedded with the troops in Iraq. Yeah. And he was on patrol with them. I mean, that's the kind of guy he is. He's a real deal. He'll go out there and he'll get in the ring with fighters and he'll go out there with a...
he was ballsy back then.
He was ballsy, and then all of a sudden it just changed. Yeah. Then all of a sudden he's like Bill O'Reilly's punk, you know. Yeah. Bill O'Reilly punks this guy, you know. At one time, Geraldo would have taken Bill O'Reilly in the back and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, it's true, man. I've seen him get punked like that on screen.
Yeah. And then he had an accident and he hurt his leg, you know. But in the dance world, we don't give a shit if
I think you know, it's a drop in testosterone with those guys, you know.
It could be.
You know, they need a little shot. They get too much estrogen. Start getting pussified.
I don't know about that. You know.
I think it's funny because he posted like almost a partly nude selfie of himself.
When?
Like, you know, like 4 or 5 months ago, 6 months ago, you know, and he looked like ripped. He's not fat, you know what I mean? But that doesn't mean you can move, you know. Some of the best dancers are actually fat, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to be fit. It helps with the being able to do it a long time, you know what I mean? But it doesn't help your movement.
No, you need glutes.
It helps your stamina, but it doesn't help your movement.
No, you need to love, or at least have an idea of what the fuck you're doing.
We talked about that last time. Don't go out for Dancing with the Stars if you don't love to dance. Yeah. Because it'll be torture. Like Misha Barton, she obviously has a hard time learning stuff. Yeah. And then she doesn't look like she likes to dance. You know? So it's obviously some manager or agent saying, you need to fucking take this job because no one gives a shit about you anymore and we need to drum up some business. Yeah. You know, and she's like, I don't want to do that. Just
it's icky.
Give me a job.
It's icky. I don't want to have to leave the house. I don't want to put my foot there. Oh, fuck off.
So the last thing I want to talk about is my mom and Radon went to like her 35th anniversary for Ojai Valley School.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, she was up there and she saw some people and she saw Hefner's son. I don't know, the skinny tall guy. I guess he was a couple years younger than him. And then they asked about me.
They did.
I got kicked out of there.
Yeah, you did for smoking road tar.
Yeah, it wasn't even hash. It was because this Persian dude that went there said, "Yeah, my dad smokes this hookah," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, sounds like he's got some good hash," you know. So she went there, and then I was thinking because you know Robbie and a few other people were like, "Oh man, I don't know if I want to go to like reunions and stuff like that." And then Radon says, yeah, my older one's coming up soon. And he goes, oh, well, you know what your reunion would be, Shelby, would be like, the nightclubs that Tommy had back in the day. And then we had a good idea. They should do nightclub reunions.
Sure.
Because nightclubs are eras, right? Yeah. They last about like a decade. 5 years, right?
5 years.
So it's like high school.
Yeah.
There should be some organization out there that will you can, log into your stuff. And then 30 years from now, they'll say, okay, let's have a reunion for this nightclub and that bar. It'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, it would be. Well, that would be my life for sure.
Yeah,
because that's how I started.
Because Radon and Robbie could do like Helena's. That's the club that they went to a lot.
They went to, yeah.
And then Roxbury, that was like their
and then didn't you go to Roxbury? Or
no, that was before my time.
That was before.
Mine would be like Las Palmas and like a few of those other ones. But I'm still going out sometimes.
So you're not into
once in a while. I actually went to the Nice Guy, and this girl was telling me, I look like this guy, and then so I was like looking at this actor, and it wasn't a very good compliment. So I took a picture of myself, but you can't do it in those places. I totally forgot, it's like a celebrity joint. You cannot take pictures. So everyone just looked at me like I fucking farted, like the nastiest fart in the world, So put my phone away, and then I realized why. Because 10 minutes later, the booth next to us was filled with Taylor Swift, Lorde, and Nick Jonas. It was just almost ridiculous,
Yeah.
Because they roll in with their whole entourage and their bodyguards, and it's like
and they take over the whole club.
The whole thing, and it's funny, man. But I was laughing.
And so what did they do? They just dance? And
no, it's a new kind of style. So it's like a restaurant. So now there's places that are going all night, but without the super loud music, so people can chat. So it's like a different kind of vibe.
Oh, they changed the.
Yeah, because it's like when you get to the clubs a lot nowadays, it's just so loud. It's just boom, boom, boom. You're just raging.
Like that rap place we stopped at in. Remember on the road, we were somewhere and we were going to take a picture with a rapper.
Oh, yeah. At High Times Cannabis Cup.
And I had to take out my hearing aid.
Yeah, you couldn't hang out at the hip hop stage.
I had to cover my ears. I wanted to meet the DJ so I could kick him in the balls.
Come on, Dad. The rappers love you, so you love them. So just take your hearing aids, and we'll put those earmuffs on you, and you'll just sit there and smile.
Be like a little autistic kid, you mean? With the earphones on. Okay, that's our podcast for today. One announcement is that we're getting Chong's Choice weed in all the dispensaries. So when you go to your favorite dispensary, I want everybody to ask for Chong's Choice. And so then the dispensaries will be asking me to supply them with weed, because Chong's Choice is the best. Believe me, I stand, I lay down personally for all the weed that I smoke.
Cool, thank you.
The opinions expressed on this CannabisRadio.com program are those of the guests and hosts and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff and management of CannabisRadio.com. Any rebroadcast or redistribution without proper consent of CannabisRadio.com is prohibited.